What's up guys, Tony here with High Tech Check. Now that I've had a chance to use it for almost a week now, I'm ready to give you my full detailed review on the Samsung Gear S3. So the Samsung Gear S3 version I've been using is the Frontier Edition, and it has LTE on the T-Mobile network. Now, as far as I've been told by some of the reps, these watches are locked to each carrier, so you're not going to be able to use them in other countries on other carriers other than T-Mobile or AT&T. Now, I did do a review on the Samsung Gear S2 last year, and I didn't like it nearly as much as this Gear S3. I really like this new watch, and I definitely feel that it's an upgrade over the Gear S2. It feels really great on my wrist. Doesn't feel any different than any other watch that I've ever worn. And the watch that I do wear currently right now, that's a normal watch, is exactly the same size as the Gear S3, even though it has a mic and a speaker built into it. Now let's talk about specs for a second. They did bump up the battery from 300 and 200 mAh from last year's Gear S2 to 380 mAh. Now that's a pretty significant bump, but they also did make the screen size bigger, so it's still a little trade-off, but we'll get into that later. Now, the screen on the Gear S3 is 1.3 inches over the Gear S2's 1.2. It also has 768 megabytes of RAM versus the Samsung Gear S2's 512. All the versions this year on the Gear S3 have a mic and a speaker, but the Frontier version is the only one that you can get with the LTE. Now, the Gear S3 also has an IP68 water and dust resistant, as well as mil-spec durability. And basically what that means is it can withstand heat and cold, and it can be submerged underwater for up to 30 minutes at 1.5 meters. Now, I did a little water test. I went ahead and washed my hands, making sure I got the Gear S3 nice and wet, and there was no problems with it. It definitely held up to its specifications. I did have a couple people ask me if you could go swimming and if you could take a shower with this. Now, I wouldn't recommend either one of those. Swimming, it states right on the website that you shouldn't go swimming with it. And as far as taking a shower, you don't want to get soap scum or anything else inside the little mic or speaker holes, because that will definitely create a big problem when you're trying to speak into it and hear from it. And also, it does have the IP68, but that's just submerging it. You don't want to forcefully get any water into any of these ports. The watch is using an AMOLED screen, so you'll never have to worry about being able to see what's on your watch even outside in direct sunlight. It also has an outdoor mode, which basically turns the watch brightness all the way up as soon as the sun hits the screen. So even though you might want your watch display a little dim indoors, you'll never have to worry about switching because of the outdoor mode. Now, as far as using the GPS, I was really disappointed at the way this worked out. First of all, you have to download the app, because it doesn't come with the watch. And when you're using it, it does follow you around as you're walking. But when you want to look up something or use the watch to navigate, you're going to have to connect to your phone. You can follow the route that it has set out for you, and it will follow you as you walk that route. It will not give you turn-by-turn navigation. It's going to tell you to connect to your phone to the app to give you turn-by-turn navigation, which really sucks. But that's how that works. Now, as far as the LTE version, I turned off my mobile networks and tried to use just the GPS on my watch, and it would not let me do it. I had to have my mobile network and location turned on for it to even tell me where I was. Now, for everybody who's looking to use the watch for S-Health, to keep track of their heart rate, their calories, their steps, and how long they work out for, this watch has a lot of cool features. Now, from what I experienced, the watch knows when you're working out. You don't even really need to put it in workout mode. You kind of just need to start working out or doing some sort of activity, and the watch will recognize that you're doing some sort of fitness workout, and it will start tracking your activity. Now, for when you want to use it specifically for certain things, maybe like walking or running, you can go ahead and put it into that mode, and it'll give you your warm-up time and some coaching. It will also record the duration of your workout and how far you walked or ran. Now, the cool part about this is each time you stop your workout, the watch will automatically stop, and it will resume tracking your workout as soon as you start working out again. From what I observed from the step counter, it was also actually pretty accurate too. Now, the heart rate monitor on this watch is pretty on point. I got a chance to test it against a $25,000 piece of equipment that is used to save lives. And as you can see, the pulse rate is pretty much exactly the same as what is on the watch. Now, with that being said, I did have trouble actually trying to get my pulse at any point in time when I was standing still. It kept telling me to try to reposition the watch and maybe wipe it down or whatnot. I'm going to attribute this to my wrists having a lot of hair on them. I did have the watch fairly tight against my wrists, and I did wipe and move the watch around, and I still had problems getting a pulse. But like I said, that's probably because my arms have a lot of hair on it. Now, the battery life is greatly improved on the Gear S3 over the Gear S2. For my first test, I had my location turned off, I had my Wi-Fi turned off, I had my NFC turned off, and I had my Bluetooth turned off. I strictly used my cell signal, and I also had it remotely connected to my phone. I had my brightness setting on 2, and I had the always on display off, as well as the auto brightness on. And for the first day that I used it, I got about a half a day's use out of it. As you can see here, it says I used the watch for about 14 hours, and I had 52% battery life left at the end of the day. For the second day that I used it, I turned my Bluetooth on. I always had it connected to my phone via Bluetooth. I turned my NFC off. I also had the Wi-Fi off. I was not connected remotely to my watch, and this is all under moderate usage. So as you can see, with your phone connected to your watch via Bluetooth pretty much the whole day, you got greatly improved battery life. I'm very impressed at what the watch can do. And this is strictly just texting, making phone calls, and just messing around with some of the watch faces throughout the day. At the end of the day, I got about 82% use out of the watch before I put it onto the charger. So the Wi-Fi version, I think, will definitely give you a lot more battery life than the LTE version, but you can still use the LTE version as the Bluetooth model. Now, Samsung Pay is something else I was also very excited about because I don't have a Samsung phone. I have a Nexus 6P, and Samsung Pay works great with it. All I did was hook up my phone to my watch via Bluetooth, and I got a prompt on my watch to install Samsung Pay, and I believe that's the only way you can do it because there's no app or anything on the watch to invoke Samsung Pay for the first time. You just have to wait till the watch asks you to install it on your phone. For Samsung Pay to work, you need to set up a PIN on your watch. And the really cool security feature on this watch is if you take the watch off, or if you lose it or somebody takes it, the watch will immediately lock, so no one will be able to use anything on your watch without that PIN. Now, if you decide to take the PIN off your watch because you don't like it anymore, you will have to redo all of Samsung Pay all over again because it will delete all of your information. There were also times that I would look down at my watch and I had not taken it off and it did lock itself, so it's not 100%, but for the most part, it works how it's supposed to. Now, as far as texting someone goes, you might think that it's hard to text somebody on a small keyboard like this, but it's really not. It uses a T9 technology where you just tap out what you want to say, and it will predict the next word that it thinks you want to use. And if it's not the right word, at the top you can scroll to the left or to the right and pick the right word that you were trying to use. It's really simple. Now, even though the speaker on this thing isn't powerful enough to host any parties, in a pinch, it'll allow you to listen to some of the music that you'd like to play, especially if you're out exercising and whatnot. I was also quite surprised to hear how well the microphone picked up my voice too. You can download this handy voice memo app. Remind me to buy eggs at the store today. Remind me to buy eggs at the store today. I've also gotten a lot of questions on whether or not some apps work with notifications such as Hangouts, Skype, Telegram, and WhatsApp. I'll show you all those right now. So the first one's Google Hangouts. As you can see, you do get the notification and you do see what somebody's trying to text you, but you cannot reply to it. You need to reply to it on the phone. Now for Skype, you also get the notification and you can also reply directly from the watch. You don't need your phone for this. Telegram also works. It allows you to reply and get notifications right on the watch. WhatsApp notifications work the same way. You can reply directly from the watch. Just keep in mind with all these apps that you get from notifications from, there aren't currently apps for the watch. So as soon as the notification is gone, you will have to wait till somebody else sends you a text from that app to reply again. Now another thing that really irritated me was that Samsung stated that you can download your watch faces and apps directly from your watch without the use of a phone. Now that's very partly true. There are a very small amount of watch faces and a very small amount of apps that you can download directly from the watch, and they're basically ones that Samsung thinks that you might want to download. If you want to download all of the other apps and watch faces, you need to have your watch connected to your phone via Bluetooth and download them all through the app. Now when you do get your Gear S3, you might notice that there's a tapping when you hit the bezel, and I went to the T-Mobile store and I went to Best Buy and all of their watches also did this too. So it's either supposed to do that or it's a design flaw. Either way, come on Samsung. Also, when you get your Gear S3, you'll notice that there's 2 watch band holders. Just take one off, put it away, hold it for when this one breaks. You don't need 2 of them. Now, one of the most requested things I've been asked is, does the Samsung Gear S3 work with iPhone? And although it's not officially supported, I'm here to tell you it does work and it doesn't work. You can make calls and receive calls, but you cannot send texts. So hopefully in the future, there will be full compatibility with the iPhone and the Gear S2. So that was my review of the Samsung Gear S3. I hope you guys found it informative. If there was anything else that you wanted to know about the watch that I didn't include in the video, please leave me a comment in the section below. And for those of you who have the Samsung Gear S3, how are you guys liking it? Is there anything that Samsung left out that you wish that they would have put in? Leave me a comment in the section below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching and your support. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.